I'm bringing my next project, Abnormal Fixation, to you here on YouTube. I became involved in this project 18 months ago when I learned of an organization in Charlotte, North Carolina called Skepticop. It's an organization aimed at debunking claims of the paranormal. But that's not what caught my eye. Since its founding, this organization has hosted an annual contest that is very interesting.
We put up $250,000, cold hard cash, to anyone who through photographic or other tangible means can provide unimpeachable evidence of the paranormal.
I'm Elvis Bragg. I'm an associate professor and author, and I host the popular podcast Bragging About the Paranormal. But the most important thing is, I am this year's Skepticop Put Up or Shut Up Contest Challenger.
To be clear, you were married to a man, Elvis Bragg, who pretty much believes in everything, and you left him for Mark Missouri, a man who believes in nothing.
That's a bit of an oversimplification. What did you say?
So tell me how you and Elvis met.
We met at a wedding reception. I had seen him the whole night because everywhere I looked, I could see him gesticulating wildly. It was hard to miss him.
I will be right here next year, same time, to prove you wrong. I will prove the paranormal exists.
Don't forget to bring your checkbook.
Why would you put yourself on the hook to owe Skepticop all that money?
Ever since I was a little boy growing up in New Jersey, I've been what you would call a true believer. For me, my fascination with the paranormal began with a Santa Claus obsession. I was 5, maybe 6 years old, and that was the time when my dad left my mom and me, and I became consumed with this notion of a magical man out there in the ether somewhere who would bring toys to all the good little boys and girls of the world from his magical sleigh.
I'm simultaneously attracted to and repulsed by Elvis at the same time. For 5 years, I found all his nuttiness charming, sweet even. But then there was this one night in Chicago at an awards ceremony for Parapsychologist of the Year when I woke up. I had an epiphany.
What kind of epiphany?
So I was jet lagged, beat, and I suddenly experienced this awareness during Elvis's acceptance speech. He began by thanking everyone for supporting him. Almost everyone.
He didn't thank you.
No, he didn't thank me.
And you know where to look.
The little help from my friends? Yeah, I think I do.
I first met Elvis Bragg in 2019. We went to a Native American lodge together in Colorado called the Belly Button of Reality. That's where we underwent our first sweat together. You see, a sweat is a prayer and purification ritual. So Elvis and I were in there for 7 long days. We were on top of each other, moaning and stretching, tugging, grasping for transcendence together. And when we emerged from that sweat, depleted and spent, it was like we had become fused together. One body, one mind. After that, it only made sense to start doing Tai Chi lessons together. And as a matter of fact, Elvis and I still practice to this very day whenever we can.
Well, hi, I guess. I'm Willard Hendricks. I collaborate with Elvis on all his technology needs. We've been best friends ever since we were college roommates.
And why does Elvis call you Bleeder?
Oh, that's a nickname he gave me. The thing is, I'm a hemophiliac.
No, Bleeder is not a hemophiliac. He just has extreme social anxiety.
So, hemophilia is a genetic condition. So, I'm assuming one of your parents has hemophilia?
No, they're both fine. I have what's called adult onset hemophilia.
Adult onset.
It's rare, but extremely dangerous. It afflicted me when I was 20, during finals week. One day on campus, I cut myself on a postage stamp, and I just couldn't stop bleeding. It was like a faucet just got turned on, and I couldn't turn it off. I bled all day, all night. I couldn't stop bleeding. I went to class, intro to psychology, and I bled all over my loose leaf notebook. Then that evening, I rode a bus to a Nine Inch Nails concert with Elvis, and I bled all over the Greyhound upholstery. And at the concert, I bled for 2 hours in the mosh pit. Finally, when I got home, put on my PJs, brushed my teeth, and went to bed, I was still bleeding. Then the next morning, when I got up and blood was trickling all over my scrambled eggs, I thought to myself, maybe I should see a doctor.
We are going to film the woodpyre mill phantom.
You see, the story of the woodpyre mill phantom dates all the way back to the 1930s, before the passage of the Fair Labor Standards Act.
Woodpyre was a mill village in rural North Carolina, and poor cotton mill workers lived and worked there. And during the Great Depression, the town was known for having a very high crime rate. Then, in the 1950s, there was a terrible, unexplained fire. And then, the town just ended. It died.
The fire was the end of the town, yes, but it was not the end of the story. The cotton mill at Woodpyre was owned and operated by Lyle Linthead Bullock. He was a robber baron. Bullock employed child workers at the mill. Unfortunately, many of them died tending to his arcane, rusted machinery. Some were lucky and merely only lost their digits in what can best be described as dreadful industrial accidents, but it all got much, much worse during the stretch out. Bullock understood that his exploitive practices would not be legal for much longer. He had his workers at the mill working longer hours in the excruciating heat. You see, men like Bullock, they couldn't afford to let productivity go down. Every year, there had to be bigger profits. Hence, the stretch out. More workers died, more lint heads.
You use that term, lint heads. Can you explain that to our audience?
Local slang for mill workers. The workers at the mill would often come home and they would have white cotton clumps stuck to their clothes and hair. Bullock desperately wanted to be seen as a philanthropist, despite the fact that he was literally working these children to death. So when the children fell ill or lost their digits, he would often respond very generously. He would purchase brand new, expensive toy dolls and leave them on the children's stoops by night.
So if you were a mill worker and you were coming home late one night in the dark after a long shift at the mill, and you saw one of those fancy dolls sitting on a neighbor's porch, you knew there was a sick or injured child inside, a dying child.
And there were darker rumors too, rumblings Ah, crap. Hang on a second. I'm getting beeped. Let me just silence it real quick.
You still use a beeper?
You'd be surprised at what I still use.
So, the rumblings, the rumors.
Right. Bullock would return to the mill at night and collect the severed children's fingers from his machinery, and then he'd store them, of all places, in a cigar box. In the 1940s, Bullock finally succumbed to byssinosis, brown lung disease. It was irony of the highest order. Many of Bullock's workers throughout the years in the mill would die from brown lung disease because it's caused by frequent inhalation of and exposure to cotton, jute, and hemp particles.
After Bullock died from brown lung, he became a local boogeyman, an urban legend. And throughout the 1950s, there were tales of lint head sightings. The Phantom stalked Woodpyre Mill, and there were even local stories about children, naughty children, coming home late at night and finding those dolls waiting for them, sitting there on their front porches.
He marked the houses with those dolls, and then the Phantom would return for the children by blackest night. And if the doors were unlocked, he would sneak in the house, take the children and spirit them away, and then murder them, stuffing their lungs, suffocating them with cotton clumps.
And where would he take the children he abducted?
His secret house in the woods, one with a family cemetery beside it.
After you discovered Bullock's house in the woods, you discovered something else about the Phantom.
I discovered a video that had been bouncing around the dark web like a ping pong ball. A disturbing video. I called Elvis.
2 weeks ago, I went hiking with my boyfriend Gabe after a fight. We decided to go our separate ways because we just couldn't stop arguing. But that didn't even happen because we came across this abandoned, broken down house in a huge meadow, and it's beside this tiny family graveyard. And the thing is, the moment I saw it, it felt wrong. It's as if my boyfriend couldn't resist it because he went in anyway. It's as if the house was calling to him. And like any good girlfriend would, I went into the house with him, and then I find out that my feeling was right. We saw things that we shouldn't have, and then the moment we left, I felt that something wrong followed us out of those woods, and I think it attached itself to us. The next day, Gabe called me, and he told me that there was a doll on his front porch. We realized it's the Tiyanak. It's this Filipino monster that we grew up hearing stories about that takes the form of a baby, an infant. And he drove to my house right away, said he had to show me, and then he got killed in a car accident. This morning I came back from the funeral and I find this same doll on my porch. Look at it! Its eyes are following me! You have to believe me, please. You have to believe me, the ghosts are real. The ghosts are real. I'm burying this fucking doll in my backyard and I'm never coming back to the States. I'm going all the way back to the Philippines. I'm staying there. And I just hope that this Tiyanak will not follow me.
So you're suggesting that Bullock, the Phantom, learned about Tiyanak during his military service?
Perhaps Bullock actually encountered a Tiyanak.
And what makes you jump to that conclusion?
Bullock was billeted in Baguio City at an estate that later became a training center for American teachers. The Chionic might have come home with Bullock to woodpyre and then inhabited the toy dolls that he gave that were his gifts to the sick and dying children from the mill.
You're going to devote your whole life to trying to convince people that there's no magic left in this world? That feels like a personal attack, like you're against me.
It's not all about you, Elvis. And besides, I am going to report the facts impartially, whether they support your vision of the world or Mark's.
Well, what about your vision, Season? Isn't that what we're talking about? Isn't that what we're really discussing here? And I know I've made a mistake. Maybe once, 2 times, 3 times, lady, that I didn't take into account your interior life, your thoughts. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm not going to do that. But Mark, he doesn't care about your mind. He doesn't care about your thoughts. Why won't you trust me anymore?
I did trust you once, and look where it got me.
We're so happy together.
Oh, God. Fact, you're 10 years older than I am. So the question is, why are you in better health than I am?
Well, I don't take everything so goddamn seriously, Season. I see the world as light and happy, and you see it as so heavy.
Wow. I think you finally discovered the paranormal, Elvis. It's me. I think you won the contest. Let's go tell Mark.
What are you talking about?
A sin eater, Elvis. I am your own personal sin eater. I eat all your sins, but they make me sick. I get high blood pressure. I get the eye twitch.
Well, I mean, it's hardly noticeable.
Oh, and
Macular
you just
puckering.
keep going like the goddamn Energizer Bunny. Shit, you just make me so mad.
Well, my spirit animal is a jackrabbit.
Deflect, double down, crack jokes. Typical Elvis. It looks like blood.
Blood?
I know blood when I see it. And there's also something on the passenger seat. It looks like a cigar box. Don't.
I see it.
No. Hold on. Let me pull out my gloves. I always carry gloves with me.
It's like 1,000,000 degrees in this car.
Don't touch it.
We should tell Alyssa, the camera crew, that they're going to want to see this.
They're right behind you.
Okay. I'm just saying we should give them a good shot,
Okay.
All right.
Move. Oh my God.
This is off the record, right?
I'm only using this interview on background.
All right. Well, in most cases, unraveling most criminal plots, the simplest answer is the correct one. This is a love triangle, right? And when the heart is on the line, people do crazy things.
Like cut off fingers? Then Mark and Elvis are your primary suspects.
Until we hear back from the lab, we don't know that this is anything more than a hoax.
I know how to treat Season and brag. He's the detritus that builds up on a gun barrel like this one. The funk that builds up on the inside. You gotta scrape it off. You gotta scrape him off with boar cleaner and a bronze brush. And then what you're left with is a shiny new shotgun.
Look, it's the family graveyard. Oh my God, or what's left of it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, this is Lyle Bullock's grave. Elvis, get over here.
I'm coming. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. Alyssa, you see this? It's real. It's all real. Ridley, keep filming. Natalie, keep filming. Oh my gosh. We are standing, crouching, where Lindhead lived and breathed, and then died horribly. But everything, the secret meadow, the house in the woods, the family cemetery, it's real. This is my legacy. This is our legacy. The discovery of the paranormal, the discovery of magic in our world, Alyssa. The magic.
Are we gonna go into the house now?
Yeah. You bet your ass we are. Suck on this, Skepticop. I'm going in.
Listen, it's my job to keep Elvis honest. Okay, we did see something weird, but not something paranormal. Skepticops certainly won't accept it as evidence.
Tell the audience what we all saw.
Well, on the hike back, we were halfway back to the car in the dark, and Elvis realized he lost his phone. So we had to head back, another 3-hour hike in the woods. Again.
So we go back to the house and, it's pitch black and it's different. The light is very different inside with the sun down. And I noticed there's this small child-size crawl space in one of the rooms. I mean, I hadn't even noticed it before. And as I look at it, I see there's something face down on the floor at the lip of the crawl space. And it's a doll. It's a doll. It's one of Bullock's dolls, like from the mill in the 1920s and 1930s. The kind of doll he would give to the sick and dying children of Woodpyre Mill. Well, I didn't see this. I was looking for my phone, but apparently your cameras caught it. The doll went from like a face plant, boop. I mean, you saw it. You tell me.
What I felt when I first saw the doll was nothing more than the third man fallacy.
Can you explain that term to our viewers?
Yes, the third man fallacy is the mistaken belief, not uncommon, experienced during times of anxiety, that we are accompanied by an unseen force or spirit.
Oh my gosh, come on guys, film it, get a close up.
I'll look for evidence on the doll. I'll seal it up in an evidence bag. Alyssa will record everything. Chain of custody will be thoroughly documented.
Okay, great, but Susan, I see your juices are flowing, you're all hot and bothered, but I don't think you should touch this doll.
Why not? Isn't that what all of this is about? You finding out the truth? About finding out finally if Santa Claus is real?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, isn't this your evidence of the paranormal? Don't you think this is the phantom's familiar swooping down on your doorstep?
Susan, for me, this is about you. This is about us. It's about getting you back so you don't divorce me.
I knew it, you fucker.
Elvis, why did you think that would work? We separated because you were driving me crazy.
No, we separated because you stopped trusting me. You stopped trusting in us. I thought maybe if we spent some time together, you'd see that it can work out for us.
You really never give up, do you?
No, but according to the professor, if this doll ends up on your doorstep, you are the next victim. I mean, you're dead, or in this case, I'm dead. But Susan, I don't want the curse of Linthead spreading to you next.
Oh, that's just a steaming pile of horse shit. Admit it, Bragg. You bought this doll on eBay just to make yourself look good and avoid paying Skepticob. Well, it won't work. An antique doll isn't evidence of the paranormal.
I will not let Susan get hurt, Mark.
Oh, you are such a hero, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. A big fat...
Stop
Not fat.
fighting.
Hero.
I'm gonna check this doll for hair, fingerprints, you name it. Case closed. You two, go somewhere else, okay? Let me do my work.
Oh my God. This stuff does turn you on, doesn't it?
It's my job, Mark.
Yeah, well, aren't you gonna quit all this forensic stuff and come live with me on the Amarillo Ranch? Oh, let me take care of you, Susan. Fly you away on romantic weekend getaways.
We'll talk about that.
Trouble in Paradise, Missouri.
Everyone, shoo, except Alyssa.
Susan, I just want to make a suggestion. I think it's time we bring in the big guns. I mean, the biggest gun. There's only one person in the world who can end the curse of Linthead, and that person is Dr. Carroll.
Oh, please.
Dr. Carroll.
Carol.
Dr. Carroll. Let me call Dr. Carroll.
Fine, do what you want, but it's only gonna make a bad situation worse. Here it is. Tia.
For Tiana. You're so clever, Susan. Your little gal here is so ugly, she's almost cute. Well, hello, little girl. How are you? You doing okay? All right in there? What did you find pathologically?
Well, pathologically, there were no hairs or fingerprints on the doll. Just some strange smudges.
The phantom touch.
The phantom touch.
Ectoplasm from the phantom that transported Tia here.
Ectoplasm isn't real, Carol. Besides, the smudges were powder, dye stuffs.
Of course, dye stuff is found in a textile mill. And she's an original from the woodpyre mill, isn't she? From the 1920s?
From what I can tell, notice the dull gray face coloring and the vintage clothes. There's also a lack of trademarks or modern fastenings like Velcro. I estimate she's about a century old.
So, Carol, are you getting something? Is there something alive in there?
Yes. I sense a presence.
Third man fallacy, again. They're both inclined to believe, and so therefore they believe.
Your negative energy is interfering with my positive energy. I need for you to take a step back.
This is my investigation, Carol. I still have tests to run.
I think your little tests have done about as much as they can do. Step back.
I am not stepping back.
Susan, don't be sensitive about this.
Sensitive? You think she can figure this out? Fine. I hope you enjoy writing your little check. Oh, excuse me, your really, really, really freaking big check and losing your precious antique clock.
Susan, don't be that way. We're just trying to find alternatives.
I'm sensing something big, bold, it's huge.
Me.
Salsa. Cigars. Cubans.
Yeah, that'd be me. I'm Mark, Missouri. Just came back from a smoke break. And by the way, everything's bigger and bolder in Texas, little lady.
Mark, I'm gonna need for you to take a step back. You're jamming my frequencies. You too, Elvis. I'm gonna need to talk to Tia alone. This will take a minute.
What's happening? Oh, are you okay? She's choking. Oh my God. What is that? Mark? I think she's gonna faint. Grab her. Oh my God.
I got her.
Susan, where's the doll? Tia's not here. She used your whole roll of toilet paper.
It's tracing paper.
She left a stool sample.
What's wrong with
She
you?
wrote a pink Sharpie all over my cabinets. Help me clean it up.
No, I don't live here anymore. The door.
Lynn's head. He's here.